Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, January 12th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. Hope you like our new intro. Let us know your feedback on that. It's had to be done because we needed to go HD with their intro since the video quality is now HD. Google Search seems to have been updating their algorithm this week a lot. What was done in December, Maccabees updates and other things that were going on that we're talking about, it seems they made continuous tweaks to that algorithm over this past week, starting over the weekend through this week. There are even some people who said they were hit hard by these Maccabees updates and actually saw a recovery. So there is some chatter, there is some spikes, not as significant as what we saw towards the end of December. I believe there was an update, but obviously Google won't confirm this type of stuff, so it's hard to know for sure. The big news this week is that Google announced that they're rolling out the new Google Search Console beta to everybody. And with that, there's 16 months of data in the search performance report, which is basically the same thing as the search analytics report, but just neater. So the reports we have available to us are the search performance report, which is basically search analytics, the index coverage report, which kind of is like the sitemaps report that shows you how your index is doing, AMP status report, and the job search status report. Obviously, Google has a lot more to add to this thing, but they're going to allow you to use both the original Google Search Console data reports and so forth with this, and there'll be a link to get to both once you have access to it. They try to make this more actionable. We showed screenshots of it before, so it's really cool. But the big thing to me is obviously the 16 months of data that's going to be coming also to the API, which we covered a little bit later, where the Google Search Console API is also going to get the 16 months of data. So you should be able to get that hopefully, I think in the upcoming weeks, John Mueller said. So definitely keep an eye on that if you are using the API. Also, if you're using this report, notice that the search analytics report versus the search performance report is a day off. So the old report, the search analytics report, has data, exact same data on the 9th that is said in the search performance report. The new report has it on the 8th. This is actually correct. The old report's correct. This is old. I assume they'll fix it soon. It's still not fixed as of this morning. So just keep an eye on that and just, Also, big news this week on the tool side is that Google updated their Page Insights tool, Page Speed Insights tool, specifically to show real user speeds. Now, this is pulling from Chrome's user experience report, where they're actually tracking how fast it loads for what they call the first contentful paint, FCP, and also the DOM content load, DCL. And they actually use that to come up with an average. And depending on how fast your site is, they'll either label it fast with the scores, with also distributions, as well as give you your old optimization speed score. And sometimes they come up with unavailable because you don't have enough data. The Chrome user experience report doesn't have enough data about the website. So my company blog, Rusty Brick, it's unavailable, but the optimization score is outstanding. Search Engine Roundtable is fast, which surprises me actually, but the optimization score is pretty low. Well, not great. In any event, that's pretty cool, so you definitely play around with that. Of course, Google's going to go ahead and hopefully clarify what that unavailable message is, and they'll hopefully clarify that and make it easier for people to understand that, because a lot of people are complaining that they don't see it. A lot of Google News publishers saw themselves over the weekend through Sunday, Monday, I think also Tuesday, saw their news sites being removed from Google's index, Google News' index. We saw hundreds and hundreds of publishers complaining about that. And finally, Google responded later in the day saying it's a bug. They're going to fix it. They actually did fix it that same day. And a lot of news publishers who were removed actually saw their news sites get back in. The traffic was lost. You can't do anything about that. But Google has definitely fixed the issue. There are some news publishers that are still complaining that their news site is no longer in Google's news. So you can actually, Google says, don't post in the forums. Go to the Google News Help Center and contact Google through that in order to get a resolution to your issue. Google said, here's some SEO tips. I'm going to run through these pretty fast. Google said that they typically and rarely ever index all the pages on a website. So Google says we never index all known URLs. And that's true. It's very rare to see a site, especially maybe a small site, but a large site, to have every single URL indexed by Google. Google said they do discount hidden text on a page. But of course, obviously, we know about the whole accordion or dynamic load or expand content type of thing. But they do discount that, and they will still know about it. And if you do a search for just those words on the page, Google will probably reference it because you're doing a quote search, a exact match search. Google's testing the latest from the web search box. So this is interesting. I can't replicate this, but you do a search. There's this box, latest from the web, which shows radio shows. And then below that is top stories. Seems a little bit redundant. I wasn't able to replicate it, but definitely people are reporting that. Google said the URLs used in a sitemap file are often what they try to use for the canonical URL. They use that as a determining factor for saying what is the canonical URL that they want to show in the search results. And often they'll use it based on the sitemap result. Of course, if you use a rel canonical or you use redirects and they conflict, Google gets confused. But the sitemap URLs you put in your sitemap file should be the canonical URL you want Google to show in the index. Google said if you want your images to show up in Google Image Search, do not use CSS background images, which is a little bit surprising to me, but they said use the image source tag, the old-fashioned image source tag. Don't use the background image type of thing because Google Image Search doesn't use that to find images or rank images. I didn't know that. I think that's pretty new, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I missed Google talking about that. Google is testing like a new carousel. I'm not sure if it's so new, to be honest, but take a look at this. This is an organic listing. There's no schema or markup on the page, but you can actually scroll the images and then click on the View All button to actually be taken to the actual landing page for this category on this category website. I'm not sure if it's new or not. I know we've seen cases of image carousels and so forth in the organic results, but there's no schema or markup on this page. Google said they are going to be dropping the AdWords ad review extensions. So if you're using that, keep in mind you should download that data because they're removing it. They launched it back in 2013, and they're actually going to go ahead and sunset it this month. So this is the last month you'll see your ads include the review extensions. Google AdSense has expanded on the ad balance tool, which is surprising, and they're now making ad balance experiments. So you can actually log in and set an experiment and see how it does. The funny thing is Google Ad Balance Tool has major issues over the past couple of years when it first launched. Was working for months, wasn't working for months, and now they're adding this new feature to it, which is interesting. Google said they have a new solution for showing the publisher's URL instead of the Google Cache AMP URL. So often when you actually copy a URL from the search result that is AMP, that's powered by AMP, it's going to be like google.com/AMP/something that directs to your website. But Google knows that publishers are not happy that you're using a Google URL to show your content. So Google said they're going to go ahead and make some changes to Chrome over the next second half of this year that will enable you to actually, for Chrome users at least, to actually click on a link, and actually that link will be a publisher URL instead of the google.com/AMP URL, the Google Cache URL, which is big news for publishers. Google may have had a bug with the Google, or may have a bug with the Google reverse image search. A lot of people are complaining about it on the forums. In short, instead of it showing the thumbnails across here, the thumbnails are gone. And that's upsetting a lot of people who use reverse image search. Google Assistant announced a lot of things this week at SES. SES, yes, the Consumer Electronics Show. Specifically expanding the Google Assistant features, now available in Android Auto. There's a whole way to browse the directory, as well as Search Console notifications are going out to a lot of publishers saying, get your content Google Assistant ready. So that's big news from the Google Assistant side. Moz said they won't be updating their search ranking studies that they do every 2 years. They said they're done updating it. I guess that's because of all the cuts and the budget changes that have been made there. But it used to be one of those things that brought the community together, gave a lot of discussion. Obviously, people thought about correlation and causation and stuff like that, and there's big fights about these search ranking studies. But in any event, it's nice to see them do it. And now that they're not doing it, Rand Fishkin, who is the founder of Moz, or one of the co-founders of Moz, who's leaving this year, the company, said he might do it. So it'll be interesting to see if he actually does pull it together. It's not easy to do. There's a lot of effort, and it's nice to see him, kind of maybe bring that back. Finally, Facebook announced last night, and we usually don't cover Facebook, but this is big news, that they were going to show less content from publishers and brand pages and more content from your friends in your newsfeed. So that's a big thing for, obviously, publishers and brands, and you should definitely take a look at that. Finally, I like to do the search community honors little thing. So obviously we have Marty Weintraub, who we like to honor, as well as Casey, Matt Umbro, Gabriella Sanino, I'm sorry for the last name, and JP Sherman. They're all people we actually honor this week at the search community for the search community, and we really do appreciate all their contributions that they've been donating and giving, thanklessly to the search community over the past several years in the search community. So thank you guys, and we do appreciate you guys. Everyone, have a great weekend. Thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and today is Friday, January 12th. Everyone, be well. See you guys next. Bye.